Okay, so good day. For today, we're going to discuss about instructional leadership, driving effective teaching and learning. So, instructional leadership is a critical aspect of school management that focuses on improving teaching and learning. Unlike administrative leadership, which centers on operational management, instructional leadership emphasizes curriculum development, teacher support, and student achievement. No? Effective instructional leaders work closely with educators to develop strategies that enhance learning outcomes, foster innovation, and ensure academic excellence. An instructional leader, of course, is responsible for setting clear academic goals, providing professional development opportunities, and fostering a positive learning environment. No, they collaborate with teachers to improve instructional strategies. They could analyze student performance data and implement evidence-based practices. This role is not limited to principals or school heads because teachers and department heads can also serve as instructional leaders by mentoring their peers and advocating for high quality education. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter.
Good afternoon po.
Yes, go
Clear
ahead.
naman po ako ng audio.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay po. Good afternoon everyone. So, ang topic po na nabigay sa akin is about instructional leadership, driving effective teaching and learning. So, it's all about enhancing educational outcomes through leadership. So what is, before we learn the different key roles, strategies, challenges, and different roles of teachers and school leaders, let's first define what is instructional leadership. So, a leadership approach in education that focuses on improving teaching and learning to enhance student achievement. It involves guiding teachers, setting high academic expectations, using data to inform decisions, and fostering a positive and collaborative learning environment. So the different instructional leaders are the principals, the department heads, teachers, mentors, who is actively engaged in the teaching process by supporting their educators through mentorship, professional development, and curriculum improvements. The goal of their goal is to create a culture of continuous learning and instructional excellence. So this is a some example of a diagram showing different leaders, and they are discussing the different things or techniques to improve the curriculum or the teaching strategies of their teachers. What are the role of an instructional leader? So an instructional leader should be setting high academic expectations, supporting teachers through mentorship and guidance, using data to guide instructional decision making, promoting continuous professional development. Instructional leadership is not only about administration. It is about fostering an environment wherein teachers and students strive for improvements. They focus on improving instruction wherein they can enhance the overall effectiveness of education. For example, a district implementing a teacher mentorship program to support new educators in improving instructional strategies. For example, they do some seminars. Kung di po ako kakamali, sa mga public school they have inset. Kasi po hindi pa ako nasa field ng public school, nanggaling po ako as a private teacher. So every year or every summer break, the district they do according to my friends who is already in public school, they do some inset. But in private school, dun po sa pinanggalingan ko, meron din naman po kami tinatawag na inset. Naging na-apply na din nila yon, na happy na rin nila. Every vacation, meron kaming 2 weeks seminar na nag-enhance or they check the the quality of the curriculum na ginagamit namin sa school, kung okay ba siya, kung maganda ba yung standard niya, or maganda yung impact niya sa mga students academic performance. Okay, so this is one of the sample of school leader or instructional leader everyday task. For example, is the supervisor or supervisor. We have planning, they do planning every day, organizing, influencing their teachers, and also managing their team. These are some of their everyday tasks, the supervisor. Another one is what kind of leadership styles they need to do, or they need to apply sa kanilang pagme-mentor sa mga leaders nila, sa kanilang teachers, not only sa kanilang mga students, but also to the teachers and mentors under them. Ang ginagamit ba nila is about instructional leadership, focus on teaching and learning, transformational leadership, or distributed leadership, or many more style of leadership na na-discuss sa atin last topic ni Sir Gary. Okay, so for example, share ko lang po. Before dun sa may private school na pinanggalingan ko, napansin ko lang dun sa aming school leader, yung aming principal, nakafocus lang siya dun sa teaching and learning, quality of learning ng mga student. So, ang napansin namin, parang hindi niya na-apply yung transformational leader. Hindi niya nai-inspire at nan-motivate yung kanyang mga teacher. So kapag kasi hindi na-inspire and hindi na motivate yung mga teachers mo, medyo may magiging palya tayo dun sa may quality of learning na makukuha ng mga students natin. And also, yung distributed leadership, shared responsibilities, pinaka importante ito, no? Yung isang leader, alam niya kung paano hati-hatiin yung mga responsibilidad ng kanyang mga teachers and mentors under sa isang school. So, yung aming school leader dati, instructional leader namin, meron siyang konting pagkukulang dito sa may transformational leadership and distributed leadership. More on instructional leadership yung ina-apply niya. Number 3 is creating a positive learning culture. So, sobrang importante yung positive culture sa loob ng isang community, because it encourage collaboration among teachers and students, promoting active student engagement, ensuring equity and inclusivity in the classroom, and it to have a positive learning culture inside the school community, you always need to recognize achievements and fostering a growth mindset. So, lagi ko nating um, importante na pakatandaan if we become instructional leaders, dahil sa hindi naman tayo nananatili as this teacher only. Meron tayong mga gustong marating sa field of education na mas mataas, na higher dun sa ating in-applyan na ngayon. So to have this kind of positive learning culture, always remember to have or to do recognizing achievements. Kapag may maganda nagawa yung teachers mo na naging improvement, na nag-improve yun sa school or sa bata, may napanalunan siya sa mga contest, try to recognize those achievements. Yun pa yung isang kulang namin dun sa dati kong school, yung aming leader, hindi siya marunong mag-recognize ng achievement ng isang teacher or mentor niya. Hindi niya na-appreciate yung mga ginagawa nung mga teachers na mine-mentor niya. Instructional leaders play a crucial role in setting the vision for this kind of learning. They don't just manage schools, but the most important is you support the teachers, you always analyze the data, and drive continuous improvement in education quality. So, for example, the department head always analyzing the students' test scores to identify areas for curriculum improvement. Okay, number 4 is about using data for instructional improvement. So after you check the records, the test scores, or the data of your teachers about the student test scores, let's now use this data for the instructional improvement. Ano ba yung mga instructional improvement, instructional tools na ito? Yung curriculum na ginagamit natin for the whole year. So, analyzing student performance data to identify strengths and areas for improvement. Implementing formative and summative assessment to measure learning outcomes. Adjusting instructional strategies based on evidence, and monitoring progress to ensure continuous improvement. So, sa DepEd ngayon, they are using this kind of data para ma-improve pa, mabago yung curriculum. Kaya nagkakaroon ng different curriculum pagka nagkakaroon sila ng analysis of student performance data. And also, yung mga formative and summative assessment, we also use the data from the test score to check kung bang effective ba yung ginamit nating test sa mga bata, or kailangan ba nating i-adjust according dun sa kaya lang nila or dun sa score na nakukuha nila. So that is the use of data for instructional improvement. And also we have supporting teacher development. So coaching and mentoring strategies, conducting effective lesson observations, providing constructive feedback, and encouraging innovative teaching methods. For the supporting teacher development, the district or the mentors, the principals, they conduct classroom observation para ma-check nila yung quality ng teaching na pinoprovide ng mga teachers and mentors nila. And also, after the classroom observation, they need to provide a constructive feedback dun sa mga dun sa napansin nila or kailangan pang i-improve ng teacher para ma-attain yung goal na kailangan ng isang school. And coaching and mentoring strategies. So teachers need support and professional growth opportunities. For this, the instructional leaders need to provide those mentorship to help teachers refine their skills. For example, a school district providing monthly professional development workshop based on teachers' needs. So yung mga ginagawa sa atin ng school, they provide seminars, workshop, together with our co-teachers. That's one of the coaching and mentoring strategies that those instructional leaders provided for their teachers and mentors. Overcoming challenges in instructional leadership. So, improving instructional leadership, we also encounter different challenges. So how do we overcome this? We need to manage resistance to change, handling teacher burnout and workload stress, balancing administrative and instructional duties, adapting to technological advancements in education. So one of the critical challenges that we encounter as instructional leadership is during the pandemic, wherein we have difficulties in adapting to technological advancement in education during those times. And also the workload stress during those time because yung pong mga paggawa ng module, online class, paggamit ng new technologies to provide learning sa ating mga student is very challenging nung times na yun nung pandemic kasi biglaan siya. So what do we need as as an instructional leadership to do is to provide different workshop to improve those challenges that we encounter. We can manage those challenges by resisting to changes, supporting teachers' well-being, and balance responsibilities while embracing educational advancement. So as a school leader, how can you manage those challenges of your teachers and mentors inside your school? So you need to implement stress management sessions to help your teachers cope with workload pressure. And also to your, as a teacher, to our student, we also need to implement stress management session. Ano ba yung mga in-implement natin na yun? There are times na we talk to different students na nagkakaroon ng problem sa kanilang grades, yung mga during nung nagtuturo pa ako, home visit yung mga student na talagang uma-absent araw-araw. Pinupuntahan namin sa bahay. Tapos we do counseling kapag ka talagang kailangan niya or kailangan niyang ma-manage yung kailangan niyang ma-manage yung stress na nararanasan niya doon sa mga workload pressure na nandoon sa mga pinagagawa sa school. Pinakamarami naming na counsel nung panahon na yun is during the pandemic era, masyadong maraming bata yung hindi na uma-attend sa online class, hindi na sila nagpapasa ng mga materials, hindi na nakikipag-usap sa mga sa teachers nila, sa advisor nila. Ang nangyayari, i-chat kami ng magulang, sasabihin ganito, maraming ginagawa, nape-pressure na yung bata, umiiyak na lang habang ginagawa yung module, ayaw nang gawin. So ang naging action ng aming school leaders, instructional leader, binawasan nila yung mga materials, and also nagkaroon kami na kamustahan session. So hindi na lang siya puro about sa module yung tinatanong. We have few minutes or hours once a week, and we call it as kamustahan session. Kinakamusta yung mga students sa nangyayari sa kanila sa araw-araw, kung ano yung ginagawa nila. So, yun yung naging tools namin to overcome challenges during those times as instructional leader. Okay, so nakita ko lang po ito. So, while searching about instructional leadership, meron palang study about instructional leadership, and we call it as the share model by Norman M. The title of his research is about distributed instructional leadership, and he called this diagram as or research as the share model. So ito yung different key components na pinasok niya dun sa share model niya. So S for steward, H for harmonize, A for abdicate, R is for reflect, and for the letter E, he called it as empower. So this share model of instructional leadership, bakit ba niya ginawa ito, yung tinatawag niyang share model? So this share model of Noman M or Noman Muhammad is used in instructional leadership to enhance teaching and learning by providing a structured approach to leadership. So, hindi ka lalulundag sa roles mo, yung kailangan mong ma-achieve. So, meron siyang ginawang step para ma-achieve mo yung best instructional leadership. Ano ba yung unang approach na kailangan mong gawin? Ano yung unang key components na dapat mong ma-achieve? So here's how it benefits the different educational settings. So the first one, he called it as steward. Okay, so he defines steward as leading with responsibility and care for students and teachers. So yung steward natin, it is leading with responsibility and care, not only for your students, but also for your teachers. For example, your principal ensuring that all students have access to necessary learning resources. So those learning resources and policies and instructional strategies are all aligned with the student success. And also, those resources, policies, and instructional strategies that the principal or the leader in his school are implementing is a key or key component to provide or to make your teachers para mag-provide siya or mag-grow yung teachers natin while applying those resources, policies, and instructional strategies for the student success. And number two is what we call the harmonize, creating a collaborative and balanced educational environment. So harmonizing is focusing on creating a balanced and collaborative environment inside the school. So, ano ba yung pinopromote ng key components na tinatawag nating harmonize? It promotes teamwork. So when we say collaborating, it promotes teamwork among teachers and students for a more inclusive and positive learning atmosphere. So for example is organizing team-based lesson, planning to integrate different teaching styles. Okay, so not only according to the share model, the leader should not only focus on the resources, policies, and instructional strategies, but also it needs to provide a balanced and collaborative um, environment for the teachers and the students for the student success and teacher success. Number three is what we call the abdicate. Abdicate is delegating responsibilities to build leadership capacity within the school. So yung nasabi ko na to kanina, it's about yung pag-shared ng responsibilities um sa lahat ng teachers inside the school community. Kailangan pantay-pantay, walang marami yung ginagawa, wala din yung konti lang ginagawa, walang favoritism. So dapat as to provide a positive school environment as instructional leaders, we need to have a positive environment by providing or delegating leadership responsibilities accordingly to different teachers to build a capacity within the team. Empowers teachers to take on leadership roles. So, hindi lang panay tinatanggap ng mga teacher yung sinasabi ng kanilang instructional leader or mga students. Kailangan matutunan din nila kung paano ba maging isang leader. So, kailangan maturuan mo sila ng different kinds of leadership roles, leadership responsibility, and also you need to reduce dependency on a single leader. Wag lang, some teachers, nakadepend lang sila dun sa mas bata sa kanila. Sample lang to dun sa pinanggalingan kong school. Kasi medyo season na yung ibang mga teacher. So, nahihirapan sila mag-cope dun sa new technology. So, ang nangyayari, dahil mas bata yung iba na pumapasok sa teaching field, ang nangyayari, inuutosan na lang nila yung, kunyari, binigay sa kanila yung trabaho, to do a program, to edit the program, um, to do some formula in Excel, di sila maka-relate do sa mga, di nila mahabol yung ating sa technology. Kaya ang nangyayari, pwede bang pakisuyo na lang to? Ikaw na lang gumawa nito. Tapos bibigay mo sa kanila, sila din magpapasa sa leader. So yung ang nangyayari, yung natapos na project, sila yung na nakikinabang, hindi ikaw kasi ginawa mo at pinasa mo lang sa kanila. So ganun yung nangyayari sa dating school na pinanggalingan ko. So, minsan nakakatamad ng gumawa kasi hindi ka naman yung napupuri doon sa mga ginagawa. So, pero dahil tulong mo na din sa kanila yon dahil medyo may edad na nga sila and they have difficulties to cope with the new technology. So, napipilitan ka ng tulungan sila dahil need naman nila. Kaya lang ang hirap na kasi nilang paano ba sabihin to? Hindi na nila matandaan masyado yung mga steps. So, kaya pag tinuro mo na minsan, di pa rin nila magigets, tutulungan mo pa rin sila hanggang matapos na yung ginagawa nilang project or assignment sa kanila ng school head. So, as a school leader or in the instructional leadership, yung mga principal and school heads or teachers to their students, they need to reduce the dependency at dun sa isang single leader. Kailangan bawasan natin yung pagiging dependent natin dun sa mga ibang mga teachers or mga classmates or mga mentors or admin natin sa klase. We need to be independent in terms of using the share model of instructional leadership, which is the abdicate. And another one is the number 4. We call it as reflect. Continuously assessing leadership practices and making improvements. So, hindi lang kailangan na mag-stop ka. Okay na. Mataas na yung nakuha ng mga student ko doon sa binigay naming test items. Okay naman yung pagtuturo ng mga teachers ko doon sa bagong curriculum. So, kampante ka na. Hindi mo na iniisip na mag-improve pa sila, yung mga teachers mo or yung mga under sa'yo or yung mga students mo. So, in Reflect, it says that we need to encourage continuous self-assessment and improvement of leadership practices. So, how do we use this reflect in instructional leadership? Helps instructional leaders refine their strategies to enhance teaching and learning outcomes. O kaya nga yung mga school principals, they check our lesson plan, they do classroom observation do sa school na pinanggaling ako, and also kasi we also use the DepEd curriculum guide, pero gumagawa pa rin kami ng curriculum mapping. China-chop-chop pa namin yung mga nandun sa curriculum guide ng DepEd para tapos pinapagawa nila kami ng sarili naming curriculum guide based on the curriculum guide na binigay ng DepEd. Kamukha nung bago po ako mag-resign, ah, meron silang meron silang seminar meron silang seminar related dun sa bagong curriculum na pinapa-implement ng DepEd, yung matatag curriculum. So, ang nangyari, yung dating curriculum na ginawa ng mga teacher, curriculum map na pinagawa sa amin, so hindi na yun pwedeng gamitin, gagawa na naman silang bago. Hindi kasi, dun kasi sa school na pinanggalingan ko, hindi pwedeng yung mismong curriculum guide ng DepEd ang gagamitin. So, we need to do our own curriculum map. I-integrate lang namin yung DepEd curriculum guide na nakukuha sa site, and ang ginagawa pa ng aming mga instructional leaders, which is okay naman siya kasi na-enhance yung yung mind namin to do to advance the activities. Kasi ang ginagawa, we add the components. Tapos i-ano pa namin yung components na yon. I-chop pa namin to kasi naka ano ba yung tawag doon? Ano na yung sa DepEd curriculum guide. So iaano pa namin siya, i-chop pa namin siya, paliliit-liitin yung mga topic. Ganun yung ginagawa namin doon sa learning competency. Tapos, lalagyan pa namin sila dahil Catholic school nga siya, kailangan may mga transformational goals pa siya. Meron pa siyang mga learning resources kung saan mo nilagay yung curriculum map. Marami siyang column na kailangan mong lagyan ng mga different uh, topics and strategies and yung mga activities and test assessment. Ina-advance na namin. And then, pag nagtuturo ka, habang ginagawa mo yung everyday lesson plan mo, pwede mo naman siyang i-improve pa, pwede mo namang mas dagdagan pa or may ibawas ka kung hindi talaga maa-attain doon sa isang specific quarter. Pero as much as possible, ang instruction sa amin, kailangan kung ano yung nakalagay sa DepEd Curriculum Guide na kailangan ma-attain ng student sa isang quarter, kailangan yun ay maituro namin lahat. Kailangan ma-attain din ng students yung lahat ng yon sa isang quarter. So hindi pwede yung may maiiwan na topic dahil hindi mo na ituro. So yun ang kaya chine-check lagi ng school principal yung mga instructional materials namin and yung aming curriculum map na ginagawa and curriculum guide ng DepEd na binibigay kung align ba siya, kung natapos mo ba or kung may iwan ka ba. So why do we need to reflect this or why do we need to use the reflect in the share model of instructional leadership? So this tool or key component will improve the future curriculum planning. And then the last key component is what we call the empower. So empower, it provides teachers and students with the confidence and tools needed to excel. So after we have the steward, harmonize, abdicate, reflect, and empower, reflect, we end with the empower. So it provides teachers and students with the confidence and tools to excel. And the use of empower instructional leadership is to develop teachers, leadership, and student autonomy, creating a culture of motivation and innovation. So yun yung use ng empower sa instructional leadership to create a culture of motivation and innovation in teachers, leadership, and student. For example, implementing in student-led projects that foster creativity and independent learning. So the overall use of the share model, the steward, harmonize, abdicate, reflect, empower, key components according to Noman Muhammad 2023, it guides the school leaders in decision making. It enhances teachers' collaboration and professional development. It improves student engagement and academic achievement. And also, it creates a sustainable, positive leadership culture inside the school. Okay, so this share model, hindi lang naman pwedeng mag-start tayo sa steward or harmonize. So this is a continuous diagram of a share model, but it starts with steward, harmonize, abdicate, reflect, and empower. And after the school leaders attain this kind of key components according to Noman, it will enhance teachers' collaboration, students' collaboration, and their professional development in creating different instructional resources or strategies. Okay, so what are the conclusion and key takeaways of instructional leadership? So instructional leadership, it enhances teaching quality and student success. Data-driven decisions and collaboration lead to school improvement. Professional development is crucial for long-term growth, and effective leadership fosters a positive and inclusive learning culture. So the most important part here in the key takeaways, if we will become a instructional leader in the future, is we need to foster a positive and inclusive learning culture. Kasi if we do this kind of culture in the school community in the future, kung saan tayo magiging instructional leadership, or inside our classroom, because we are the school leaders, instructional leader rather, inside our own classroom, lahat na siya, magiging mapapasok na yung quality ng student success natin, yung collaboration inside the classroom, and yung professional growth ng ating mga students or ating mga teachers ay magsusunod-sunod na doon, or mag-i-improve na if we have a positive, inclusive learning community or culture in our school or classroom. Always remember that effective instructional leadership it is not about creating a good resources or having a better strategies inside the classroom or creating a good curriculum for the school, but it is about building trust within the community, within your teachers, within your student, and also offering support and fostering growth in others. When leaders take care of their teachers, teachers are in a better position to take care of their students, ultimately improving the entire learning environment. And thank you for listening, and iwan ko lang po ito na according to Simon Sinek, leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge. Thank you po.
Okay, so again, thank you so much to our presenter. And there are some strategies for driving effective teaching, as what our presenter mentioned. No? Because instructional leaders must adapt various strategies, no, to enhance teaching effectiveness. No? And this include promoting collaborative teaching methods, no, integrating technology in education, and encouraging continuous professional development. Because observing classroom instruction and providing constructive feedback also plays a significant role in refining, no, teaching practices. Additionally, instructional leaders should support differentiated instruction to cater to diverse student needs. Now, effective instructional leadership directly impacts students' achievement. So, through fostering an engaging and inclusive learning environment, instructional leaders can help students develop critical thinking, problem solving, and communication skills, because they ensure that the curriculum is relevant, as our presenter mentioned, up to date and aligned with educational standards. Moreover, they emphasize, no, student-centered learning approaches that promote active participation and lifelong learning. Professional development and capacity building is also important, because we believe, no, that continuous professional development is essential for teachers to stay up to date with emerging educational trends. No? Yun nga yung sinasabi nilang INSET. No? Instructional leaders, no, should provide opportunities for workshop, seminars, and peer learning sessions. No? Investing in teacher training improves instructional methods and boosts teacher confidence, ultimately benefiting student learning outcomes. No? Encouraging effective teaching practices also helps educators assess and refine their approaches. The impact of technology in instructional leadership is very important also to consider because with the rise of digital education, instructional leaders must embrace technology as a tool for enhancing teaching and learning because learning management systems, online resources, and virtual classrooms provide flexible learning opportunities. Now, instructional learners should guide teachers in integrating technology effectively to create engaging and interactive lessons. So, data analytics also can be used to monitor student progress and make informed instructional strategies. Now, despite its importance, no, instructional leadership faces several challenges, such as resistance to change, lack of resources, and workload pressures. No? So some educators may be reluctant to adopt new teaching methodologies, while others may struggle with limited access to training and development programs. So instructional leader must address these challenges by fostering a culture of collaboration, advocating for necessary resources, and leading by example. So what will be the future of instructional leadership? No? As education continues to evolve, now the role of instructional leadership will become even more critical. Okay? Honestly, I'm not feeling well now. Okay, so future instructional leaders must be adaptable, innovative, and committed to continuous improvement. They should focus on fostering a culture of lifelong learning, equity, and inclusion. So through leveraging research-based practices, instructional leaders can drive significant improvements in teaching quality and student performance. So ensuring that education remains relevant and effective in the modern world. No? I think that's it for this